think outside the box, if you will. I mean, go there, go off campus. Let's think this through. And sure enough, that's where the Mustang was born. When it finally hit, it took the country by storm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. You know, this is the Motor City, and this is the show where we put cars into the context of your everyday life. We're going to try to give some knowledge and experience and send it your way, but we will make no apologies for our decidedly Detroit perspective, and not on this show, because today we're going to give you some real insight into the future of our market, and especially the car driving experience when it comes to fuels. And of course, when we talk fuels, we talk with one of our favorite guest hosts, and that is Chris Sawyer. Chris, welcome to Cars in Context yet again.
Thank you, John.
Chris, as editor and founder of thevirtualdriver.com. Of course, I know him when he was news editor at Auto Week. He used to throw papers at me a lot.
And there was a reason for it.
Okay, well, there still is. But anyway, Chris, we're going to talk today about CNG. And for those of you who've heard that acronym and don't know what it means, it's compressed natural gas. And it's T. Boone Pickens who said we have a lot of natural gas.
Oh, we do have tons of it.
We're not talking about
it's not just a Taco Bell.
Or Xochimilcos. We're talking about America's absolute motherlode of natural gas, not just for heating homes anymore.
No.
CNG technology is coming to a car near you, and we're going to get into this very fascinating discussion. But before we do, let's find out what's happening in the news.
If you insist.
I do. And in fact, I want to talk about alt fuels right at the top of the show.
Okay.
Because there was just a recent study, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show for you today is a report from the Energy Information Agency. Does that sound like governmental?
Yeah, it certainly does.
Okay, anyway, they did a study about the use of replacement and alternative fuels to gasoline, obviously, and probably diesel, but they include diesel in the study.
Okay.
And apparently, in just this last couple of years, growth looks really impressive. They say that CNG, and I don't even know anybody with a CNG vehicle at this point, grew 5% from 2010 to 2011, which is the last time they were able to measure. And then E85 jumped 52%. Remember we had a show on that?
Right.
All right. And electricity that is used in the EVs, the electric vehicles, and plug-ins grew 57%. So biodiesel, 240% growth in this same period. However, liquid propane, now we all know propane.
Oh, Bobby Hill, yeah.
You know, not that propane
Oh,
guy.
darn.
See? This is propane not for your house or for your cottage up north. That's propane you put in the car. Auto gas, they call it. It fell by just 1%. Anyway, overall, the most common alternative fuel used in the U.S. is natural gas, apparently, and we'll get into that in a second. But here's the best news. There's a rumor going around among auto analysts and journalists right now in this town that says there's a company called VNG, and you can, I guess, Google it, and they're going to have a unique, innovative way to distribute compressed natural gas in the United States. They're going to make an announcement, working on it soon, so we're going to have to watch for that. That's part of the issue about CNG, because you can't go up to your mobile station and,
No, there
hey,
are
say
some
premium, diesel, CNG. We don't have it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you give us one, Chris?
Well, continuing with that same idea.
I like a
there.
theme show.
That's amazing how that works.
I like it.
There's the biofuel bandwagon. Which is
everybody's
not something you find on a bad website on the.
Or at the hayride.
Exactly. So Ford is claiming that the only CNG-powered half-ton pickup on the market with its F-150.
It's the F series. Yeah,
and it has 6 different CNG-capable engines for upfitting into 8 models.
No, you just said a word upfitting. So in other words, you don't buy a CNG F-150 from Ford. You got to have it
taken to somewhere else. That's right.
Okay.
There are currently 6 Ford-approved upfitters,
Okay.
and as long as they meet a prescribed process, the engine will remain under warranty.
So-
Good thing.
So you put CNG in there and you still have the Ford warranty?
Exactly.
Perfect.
The CNG prepped engine for the F-150 has an additional cost of $315. Not bad considering what you'll make back on the other side.
Yeah.
And will run about $8,000 to $10,000 for the fuel system from the upfitter.
See, the fuel system costs more because that's an issue.
Right. Now, if you drive a lot, it'll pay for itself because CNG costs anywhere from $1 to $2 a gallon.
$1 to $2.
Yeah.
$1 to $2. Remember back then?
A gallon equivalent, yeah.
Yeah.
And emits 24% less greenhouse gases.
Well, then.
Let me just stop you here. There are no such things as greenhouse gases.
Yeah, I've been in my greenhouse. I don't smell any
That's
gas.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
have seedlings
Ford's
in
on
it.
track this year to make more than 15,000 CNG prepped engines.
Really?
That's a 25% increase over last year.
That's,
Now,
I can't believe this.
there's also Ram. Ram offers a CNG option on its 2500 series pickup.
Okay,
and
so
now,
it's the 3/4 ton.
right, and now
Yeah.
Chevrolet and GMC have announced
Saw
new
that.
CNG versions of their full-size heavy-duty pickups and full-size
Heavy
vans.
duty, so you're talking about 2,500,
Yep.
3,500? Okay.
That's right. The trucks will be bi-fuel, so they're able to run on both gasoline and CNG, which is a good thing
Yeah.
because you know you're
Sometimes you don't
can't go that far on CNG.
Right.
While the vans will get a dedicated CNG system.
Okay.
Both are covered by a 5-year, 100,000-mile transferable warranty. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And are powered by the company's 6-liter V8 with hardened valves and valve seats.
So that's part of the trick.
Right. Better still, GM says we'll sell a bi-fuel version, easy for me to say, of the Chevy Impala.
Awesome.
That can run on gasoline.
car. So
Or
you-
compressed natural gas.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the model will be available to retail and fleet customers starting next year as 2015, and it will have a range up to 500 miles and join the Honda Civic as the only passenger car sold in the U.S.
Well,
that can
so they
run
do right
on
now
CNG.
sell a Civic and a
Yep.
don't see those around. Well, there you go, folks.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Okay. Well, maybe this VNG
It's like
company.
you get 100 miles on a tank and that's about it.
Well, we'll get into that.
We
But
will.
that's really cool. That's so people, they're making products. They're getting ready.
But
they're
I'm
gearing up.
guessing that you've got something in the same vein, so to speak.
I'm just saying
It's a
that
theme show,
It
after
is a
all.
theme show. If you don't like that whole deal with alternate fuels, you can get great fuel on gasoline with a 1 liter. 1 liter. Now, I'm not talking about the Coca-Cola you just bought at 7-Eleven. The 1 liter, a 3-cylinder engine that Ford has been using pretty successfully in Europe and now bringing to America in a new
Lovely
Fiesta.
little motor.
So if you've driven the 1 liter Fiesta, I think you have.
Yep.
This car is EPA. We got the EPA numbers now. 32 city, 45 highway. Folks, this is not a misprint. This is not an electric car. This is the EPA number, which is now,
That puts it right up there with some hybrids.
that's really close to it. And plus, here's the best thing I like about it. This
What's
little
the power?
123 horsepower.
Nice.
Come on, and 125 pounds-feet of torque. So it's a peppy little car.
That's not bad.
That is awesome. It's going to be at dealerships right around Christmas this year, and the price is around $17,000 to start. So, folks, if you're got gasoline in your veins, like most of us do at Cars and Context, then you can still buy a little peppy, great fuel economy car, albeit 1 liter.
As long as you keep out of the turbo.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, keeping with our theme,
Okay.
Kia is testing the LPG market in Europe.
Now, LPG is not, it's
Liquid propane.
So you take propane, liquefy it, and put it in the car.
Put
so
it
they
in, well,
don't-
they put it in a tanker because it's much easier to ship that
well,
way.
Chris, why don't they use natural gas like we do?
They don't have natural gas like we do.
Oh.
That's why do you think there's a war in Syria right now? Part of it
they-
is because of where the two competing pipelines, the Russian one
Mm-hmm.
and the other one, are going. Do they go through Syria? Do they go through Libya?
So this
there's a lot
liquefied,
behind that war.
this liquefied.
So liquefied goes across from us to them
Okay.
on boats. They're really funny looking boats because they have huge
I
spherical
think I've seen
containers on
those.
them.
Yeah.
And so this liquid propane, which they call autogas,
That's right.
is half the price of what they're paying over there.
And over there, what's-
actually, it means that they're paying what we pay for a gallon of
Gas
gasoline.
over there is like $8-9.
Yeah, and so
man.
that's why Kia's got a bi-fuel version of the Picanto, which sounds like something that you put on
Tortilla chips?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Picanto.
And it can run on either autogas or gasoline, and usually it costs $4,000 to $5,000 to convert a car like that to run
Wow.
propane. But Kia's charging only $1,400 for the conversion because they're doing it on the assembly line.
Yeah. Okay.
And that means the payback comes in less than 2 years. And since Europe has quite a few stations that sell autogas, watch this space.
Wow. Wow. Well, there's another alternative. Maybe people like liquefied petroleum. That's the way to go. And propane is propane, right?
Yes.
Not a bad idea. All right. I want to. This thing's killing us. Okay.
Yes, please. Thank
Now
you.
I always bring in trends too. And I'm not talking about alternative fuels. I'm talking about colors. I love to talk about stories about the car companies and what our favorite colors are. Because I have been accused, and once in a while, of being quite a colorful person. So I don't drive a...
You?
No.
No.
So I wanted to know, again, PPG, our paint companies here that supply most of the automakers with paint, they run a survey, what's the most popular car colors? And it's been so boring. People out there, what's wrong with you? My wife, Jenny, I love you, honey, but you bought that beige car. Beige.
Really?
Oh, I was so, and my sons used to call, oh, we're driving the beige mobile? The beige mobile. They don't even call it a name. Beige, really? Seriously? But this is the worst news now, folks. White and black. It's all in black and white. They are the top two colors. They remain the top two
Are
in
you making
America.
this a racial thing or anything?
No, I'm just saying it's all in black and
okay,
white.
I just wanna make
It's
sure.
ebony and ivory. Wait, no, that was another.
Oh, thanks.
another
Now that's going to be stuck in my head for the rest
I'm
of the day.
sorry, don't start singing it to me. Anyway, the popularity of these we thought brightly colored cars, remember, like gotta have it green,
Yeah.
and electric blue, and sonic this. And where are you people? Start buying the cars that are more colorful. I mean, Arrest Me Red. No, don't buy that one. That's one I always buy. But apparently, 3/4 off.
Wait.
What?
I seem to think, remember that someone's got a Mustang too that's what color?
White and red stripes.
And the
it's
other
white,
one?
and it's black with.
Okay.
Well, that's what you're making them in.
Pot, kettle.
All right, here we
Hello.
go. Okay. Killing me. Over half the cars on the road are neutral colors, and so, folks, here's the funny thing is they're seeking ways to try to find.
Switzerland is neutral. Colors are not.
Please, put some personality in your cars. Here's where we're at right now. White's 21%, black 19%, gray and silver's 17%.
Come on.
Red is down to 11%, blue 9%, natural beige.
What's natural?
Beige. 6%, green. 2%.
Well-
Why don't you buy green cars anymore? We like green cars. We won't go green.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because
sorry, we already
we
have.
know we're tight, but look, anybody who's seen the last generation Focus sedan and saw this sort of really light metallic green,
Yeah.
you know what the color of that was?
No, please tell us.
Medium, natural, neutral, metallic.
Wow.
I rest my case.
All right, that's why we're not buying it. So listen, what we'll do though, we will come back to our theme, and we're going to talk about, will CNG set you free? Right after this. Hi, and welcome back to Cars in Context. I'm your host, John Clor. Today we're talking to Chris Sawyer of thevirtualdriver.com. Chris, we're going to be talking about CNG, compressed natural gas, and will CNG set us free from this shackle we have with gasoline and our addiction to oil, as they like to say.
There is no such thing.
I know, isn't that the craziest thing?
That's just dumb.
Please stop out there. Whoever keeps writing that, would you just please stop? Just watch us. And
no
we'll
imagination.
We'll guide you. We're not addicted to anything,
If
but
I
we
was
do
your
love cars.
If I was your editor, I'd fire you.
That's right. So now, I need to get to the bottom of this. We've read T. Boone Pickens talking about, oh man, we've got the wonderful reserves of compressed natural, natural gas. And it just, so does it make sense that if we have all this reserve and we have it here in the United States, and in oil, we have oil, but we've got to bring some of it, or we're preferring to bring some of it.
Yes, we're preferring to bring some
And
of it.
there's you conspiracy theorists out there, go ahead and send me an email, jclor, carsandcontext.com, I'll take it, that says what we're doing is we're pumping the rest of the world dry, so we'll have it all. Well, I don't know about that, but I do know.
No, we're just stupid.
I do know CNG is now becoming a viable alternative, and if our folks somehow were in the kitchen and missed the news part of the show, they could see that now we're making product.
Shame on you.
What are you doing in the kitchen? I mean, come on, watch the show.
Even I don't like going to the kitchen.
Well, that's what you have the kids do.
Not while this show is on.
I just call Hungry Howie's Pizza. Anyway,
There you
so
go.
here's what I'm thinking.
Yes, sir.
If we're having vehicles now and we're having the fuel, what is the issue about making it viable?
Why don't we go CNG for our cars?
We
could do it,
Okay.
and certainly from a supply standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. We are the Saudi Arabia of natural gas.
You're talking about the lower 48 states.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, Michigan is sitting on a huge shale deposit, and,
wow.
and shale means there's gas below that. And I hate to tell you that the biggest deposit is underneath the Capitol in Lansing.
There's a lot of gas in Lansing?
Well, just look at what comes out of there.
Okay.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is that we're sitting on based on current growth rates.
Okay, right now.
We're sitting on a known 100-year supply, probably closer to 500 years.
So even you kids out there won't outlive that.
No, exactly. So that's why your electric plants are going to natural gas, because you get off the coal, they're cleaner, all that sort of stuff
Right.
is much easier. Well, let's look at some of the advantages and disadvantages.
Okay.
Right now, natural gas is $1.60 per gallon equivalent in terms of energy.
I like that.
And SoCal Gas says that a CNG vehicle has a lower monthly fuel cost than an equivalent hybrid. Okay, sounds good.
Wow, yes.
It has, CNG has an octane rating of 131 versus 91 for premium fuel.
Yeah,
that's fabulous.
that's
That means
racing.
that means high compression,
Yeah.
my friends. Hydrogen to carbon ratio is better at 2 to 1 to 4 to 1, so it's cleaner, it's better burning, it's
Well,
less after
even
treatment.
Al Gore can like that.
And no, he doesn't like anything.
Okay.
And but here's the one thing you got to remember: it's a great feedstock for making hydrogen. So remember that for fuel cell electric vehicles.
We'll come back and have a test.
Here are the disadvantages. With current technology, you get about half the range per tank.
Okay.
So that's why your biofuel vehicle is a problem, because it's being designed to run on gasoline. It's
Both
not being
fuels.
run
Right.
to
It's not
run on CNG.
optimized.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's running on.
And so that's a problem. If you were to optimize the vehicle to run just on CNG, you could be running a conservative 14 to 1 compression ratio, probably 16, and maybe with modern controls, as high as 18 to 1. We're getting into diesel range.
Yeah.
And you would have to do that to make it as efficient as diesel. You would also have to redesign the car, because the fuel tank for CNG is totally different than what you see. It is a cylinder with rounded ends on it. It is pultruded, as they say, which means it is a tank that is drawn through a fiberglass and carbon composite mesh, so that it doesn't explode because it's under 5 to 10,000 psi of pressure.
And it's very important,
So
because that
if
is
you
a really...
were to design this correctly, if
Yeah.
you were to be smart, you could do the Tesla of CNG vehicles and put these tanks one right after another, small ones,
Down-
under the floor,
Yeah.
and gang valve them together and probably get a range that's easily equivalent to what you've got now. But that means a special car. Right now we're doing electric vehicles,
Yeah.
and so we come back to making hydrogen for fuel cells, because we have, with hybrids, all of that set to the point where you take the gasoline engine out, you put the fuel cell in, you fill it up with hydrogen, and it makes a lot of
We're
sense
in that-
because we're used to doing
Yeah, but
that.
see, that's right, because we're in that middle ground, just like we are with hybrids. Do we have an electric powertrain or a gas? Well, we'll have both. We're not optimized for either one.
One
'cause
from
we're-
column A,
Yeah,
one
we're
from
not.
column
We're
B.
not sure, which one, because we're still used to filling up the gas station. We like the electric idea. So with the CNG, if it's a biofuel, we'll give you the CNG part, but it's not really optimized for that, and maybe you might need gasoline when you're not around. So
you will.
right now we're in a middle ground. But what you're thinking is that, I mean, if we were to go wholeheartedly, much like Brazil's gone with sugarcane, and just say this is going to be the fuel of choice in America. And,
Even for certain sectors, and there
Yeah.
are sectors such as heavy-duty trucks.
Now, it makes sense too for governments who, instead of telling us what to do, if they just tell themselves what to do, and they can run their fleets
Right,
on whatever
because they
want.
would have a central charging station,
Correct.
as they do for
They have
electric
to
vehicles,
leave-
and a central fueling station for these.
So all the snowplows here in Michigan could go to when they get the salt, and they could be on CNG, because that's where they get everything else. They go to and from. So it's not like they're telling us what to do. And then it would be a great experiment to see if it would work for the rest of us. But no, they
Excuse
don't
me,
do
I
that.
have a little CNG of my own.
Well, that's natural gas.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking then maybe we should just not vote for this yet. I mean, is everyone?
Let the market decide.
What a crazy idea. Is that what I'm going to find on the virtualdriver.com? Craziness, like
That's what
letting
you always
consumers
find
decide?
on the virtual driver.
That's right. So, Chris, tell us now, when you talk about the technology involved, we see all these cars now being made with this. Okay.
Right.
What is the issue with?
Why are they doing it?
Well, I can see the cost savings, right? Or
That's
no?
not the reason.
Tell us the reason.
They're getting a big carve out in the fuel economy standards for it.
It's that 54.5 thing again?
Well, yeah.
Good Lord.
That's why you're going to see hybrid pickup trucks, because you're going to have a 3 to 1 on that. We talked about that before. You get a carve out for E85. You get a carve out for this. Granted, it's something that makes a certain amount of sense if you're trying to get something up and running. But there comes a point where you sit
Okay.
there and you say,
Yeah.
you know what? What are we doing?
Yeah.
We have no plan.
Which is why there is
Why
no
do I feel that every time I watch C-SPAN, I'm actually watching F Troop?
because it's very similar. But I can tell you this, folks, that you wouldn't feel comfortable with driving a CNG vehicle unless every time you'd stop at the convenience.
Unless they were as common as a gas station,
Right.
Actually more common because of the problem with range at the moment.
Right.
But as that is taken care of, and it is if you have a truly CNG car, and that will only come if you have the infrastructure. So it's chicken and egg again.
So what do we do?
You need an Elon Musk type of thing where
yeah.
you build the electric vehicle and you say, guess what? I got so much money, I'm going to put up these supercharger stations so you can drive
He
it.
puts them up himself.
Yes.
Yeah, well-
and he's going to make a ton of money off of it. He's not
so
stupid.
you CNG startups that you want us to go complete with this technology, you not only have to provide the vehicle, but you have to provide the
It's in
infrastructure.
your own self-interest.
And then it's all up here. Then it's all like, because why?
And I would have no problem with it because I drove my first CNG vehicle in 1989, had to go to the Consumer Power, or actually Detroit Edison, because they were doing the gas deal at the time.
Oh, yeah.
In downtown Detroit, they fueled it up for you because there was no refueling structure that you know of right now. It's really pretty simple. Honda has a system where you do it at home, and it costs you $5,000 or something to put that in, but it uses your natural gas for your house. But it has to spend all of this time compressing it, and it takes overnight to do it. It's like owning an electric car.
Yeah, the same thing.
So when you have it on a large scale, you could have that compression being done already, and that makes an awful lot of sense. But you also can't cut the corners on safety at the stations, because the minute a station blows up, everybody's going to go, nah, not a good idea.
Yeah, it's really, the chicken and egg is really a great way to describe it. And
Absolutely.
Folks, so
and
it's
I
not
like my eggs.
over easy. It's not that we don't like the different ideas being brought about. It's just that for
They
it
have
to
to make
work in
sense.
America on a large scale, we need the infrastructure.
And let's not forget, we're still sitting on 1.4 trillion barrels of oil in Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
Don't understand
that we could get.
Don't understand. We really, sooner or later, are going to have to use that resource, right? I mean, it only makes sense.
No, unless we want to be a third world nation, yeah.
No, well, a lot of people would like us to be there. So, folks, that is really the whole story behind CNG. We're going to have to watch this, especially, I think, with sales of these vehicles. And now
As they increase, it will start to push the structure
and
forward.
it's probably not an accident that they're in the heavy-duty pickups first.
No, it's a good place for them because they do have fleets, they do have places to go, and it's a good prove out.
Well, I think, folks, right now, if you're one of those daring sorts, you're one of those early
Adapters?
yeah, you bought an electric car early, and maybe this is something you might want to try the next time you trade in your hybrid or electric. Try one of these CNGs. If you get the Impala, and then contact us at Cars in Context, and we'll put you on the air.
And early adopters make a lot of sense because my brother spent 4 years trying to convince me I was adopted, but okay.
That's so mean. But Chris, thanks a lot. It was a great
You're welcome,
topic.
Jim.
Folks, we hope you enjoyed that. But now it comes for a more fun part of the show. This is one of my
Let me
favorites.
guess.
Yeah.
Pride in my ride.
Oh, you've been on the show before.
Good.
Yes,
Yeah.
folks, this is the time when we actually show a car, some viewer who sends in a picture of themselves or their car and says, hey, this is the car and I have pride in my ride. If you have pride in your ride, you can send it to me, Jay Clor, at carsincontext.com, and we'll put it on the air. But today, we've got a really special, very unique pride in my ride. This one is a Playboy pink Mustang. And before you say, what is that?
Oh, it looks like bubble gum.
Very close. This car, it's called.
Does that go along with the whole thing on the back of the Playmate? Was your favorite color blue?
No, this is, and it was actually a coordinated effort with Playboy magazine back in 1967. This car is owned by a guy named Horace Collins. Horace is in the Mustang Club of America. He's really a cool guy. He has this 1967 Ford Mustang finished in true Playboy pink exterior paint, which is custom ordered here in Dearborn. Wow. He lives in Cypress, Texas now, but this was a very rare paint option which Ford Motor Company and Playboy actually got together and did a promotion back then. Very few Mustangs are painted factory Playboy pink. Horses.
Really?
Yeah, very
I wonder why.
Well, it's
actually now
it's kind of special
that we're 40 years away from it. It looks cool.
It is kind of cool, and he loves because it's so different. His car has got the 390 V8, which really makes it rare because it was an early big block.
Nice torque.
And he has just restored this car.
It looks beautiful.
A couple of years ago, back in June of 2007. He said since the restoration, since this time, he's put, are you ready for this? 12 miles on it. He's got 12 miles.
Horace, drive the damn thing.
So
if you don't, I will.
Thanks for sending in. If you have, again, a car that you have pride in your ride, send it to me, jclor, carsincontext.com, and we'll put it on the air. But you know, that's not even the best part of the show. The best part of the show is now, because now we get to ask Lauren Parrott, Cars in Context, do we have viewer mail from out there in TV world? Lauren Parrott, is it possible that we have viewer mail?
You do have viewer mail.
Oh, thank God, Lauren, you always come through for us.
She's not only the best part of the show, she's the best looking part of the show.
Well, that's not my fault. Thank you, Lauren. She knows how to make us happy here at Cars in Context because viewer mail makes us happy. It makes us sure that you're watching. And sometimes you
They're not watching us. That's pretty good.
Chris, then just for that, you take the first question.
Okay, this one comes from Mark M. of Dearborn.
Dearborn?
Who watches Cars in Context on AT&T UVerse Channel 99.
Cool.
So do I.
Okay.
Dear Cars in Context, I saw your show on red light cameras and thought about how to protect myself from this invasion of privacy.
Oh, yay.
I found a company that sells a clear shield that mounts over the license plate
I've seen that.
that it claims will blur any photo taking, but am skeptical. Good reason to be.
Wait a minute. That's a cool idea. You don't want your camera. Thank you. Now, could we all buy these?
Oh, you can buy them. They're not going to work. Did anybody watch Mythbusters? They did this.
What?
Yes.
No, it's-
granted. There is the idea is you have two pieces of clear plastic
Yeah,
with a fractal diffuser between them.
Only you could say fractal diffuser.
I did, and so that it bounces the light off at a different angle, so it shouldn't show. It just doesn't work.
So
it's
folks,
a great idea. It doesn't
Oh,
work.
he's ruined it for us. You mean to tell me if red light cameras come in and all these
No,
speed
if red light cameras come in, do the smart thing. Vote the bums out.
Okay, so buying this $60 thing
No,
plate,
doesn't work.
So essentially this is a scam.
Exactly.
Well, there you go. We just saved you a lot of money, folks, from buying this fake license plate cover that doesn't work to stop red light cameras. Thank you for listen, I got one. I got a Dear John letter. This one
Funny how
comes
that
us from
happens.
Sal M. of Grosse Pointe Farms, right here on the farms, who watches Cars and Context on Comcast, channel 915. So we're in
HD.
HD. It says, Dear John, Dear John and love, love your show. Well, I love it too. And we'd like to offer a suggestion. Okay. I'd love to see you provide advice on how to buy a collector car. Yee. There are so many pitfalls with buying from a private owner and then even at an auction. Advice here would be helpful. When you could, you know what? Geez, Sal.
It's a great idea.
You know,
It's a difficult subject.
you know what?
And we'll have to do a
We'll
show.
have to do a
with-
show on
we'll have to do a show when we'll go see my classic car. We'll talk about the pitfalls of buying it.
Yeah, we could all talk about our classic car experiences. I think all of us
If
have.
you're expecting on making money on a classic car, you've bought it from somebody else who already restored it.
That's right. You should buy. Always just buy something you like and not worry about the return on your investment.
Exactly.
Because-
Exactly. Because then you've got something that you want.
Yeah,
and
Jenny
You're not
would-
worried about the money.
My wife Jenny would like us to turn all of our classic investments into other things like clothes, furniture, and kitchen remodels and things like that.
What the hell's wrong with her?
I don't know. 37 years. But anyway, folks, if you have a question that you'd like us to answer, or even if it's a topic suggestion, you
Absolutely.
send it to me, jclor@carsandcontext.com. We'll be sure to read it on the air and we'll answer your question. And in this particular case, I think the only answer is, yeah, we're going to have to do a show. We both, and I think we both could maybe trace it. Would you like us to go back? Now, it's not chasing classic cars. In my case, it's chasing crappy cars. But we'd be happy to follow that. We'll do that, folks. for
Or
you.
the money pit.
Or the money pit, which is in your case, yeah.
Yes.
All right, folks, thanks again. Now, Chris, again, thank you for very
You're
much.
welcome, John.
Well, I guess CNG won't set us free just yet, but we'll
Not
be
yet.
looking forward to it. And we look forward to bringing this show to you folks. And then remember, until next time, that knowledge is power. I've been your host, John Clor, so thanks for watching.